Good morning, everybody. A great moment happens in this week's Parsha when God speaks to Moshe and he says, and I'll quote, "Please speak in the ears of the people," meaning, Moshe, you go out and speak to the nation, speak to the Jewish people, that each man should request from his neighbor and each woman should request from her neighbor articles of silver and gold. And basically, this is to fulfill the promise that was made 400 years earlier to Abraham from God, saying that when you would leave Egypt, when your offspring will leave Egypt, they will leave so berechush gadol, with great abundance, with great wealth. And now it's time for that promise to be fulfilled. And God's telling Moshe, go speak to the people and tell them that they should request from their Egyptian neighbors, the ones who have been oppressing them and have been subjugating them to servitude and slavery for the last 200 years, for generations, for their silver and gold. Okay, because now you're going to become wealthy, you're going to acquire all kinds of great abundance, and it'll be time to leave Egypt. And that's fine, and I get that. But there's one word in that sentence that doesn't make sense. Please. And Rashi points out that basically God is kind of encouraging Moshe. He's nudging them. He's saying, he notices his reluctance, his apprehension, that he doesn't want to go and tell the Jewish people to make this request, to go to their Egyptian neighbors and ask for their articles of silver and gold. He sees there's a reluctance on Moshe's part, so he says, please do me a favor. You've got to do this for me, because I have to fulfill the promise that I made to Abraham that they would go out with great abundance and wealth. What was Moshe's reluctance? Why would Moshe hesitate? Why would he not jump at the opportunity to acquire this great, tremendous wealth from these people who had done such horrible and evil things to them for generations? So Rav Samson Raphael Hirsch explains something which I think is so beautiful, and it's a great lesson for us. He says, they just completed the plague of darkness. For those 3 days during the plague of darkness, every single Egyptian was in absolute, complete, 100% darkness that we can't even imagine. And the darkness was so thick that they couldn't even move. They couldn't move about their homes. They had to stay in place for 3 days. They couldn't see, they couldn't move. But for the Jews, there was or, there was light. So the Jews, it was perfectly normal, beautiful daylight. They could see everything. Now imagine if you're in the midst of an enemy that for the last 200 years, for the last countless generations, have been torturing and oppressing and subjugating your people, and they're frozen in darkness, and you can walk right into their homes and open up their cabinets and take their silver and take their gold and take their jewelry and take their money, and whatever there is in their homes, it's yours now for the next 3 days. Go on a massive looting spree and take everything. And what happened after 3 days of darkness? The lights came back on, so to speak, for the Egyptians, and they looked around, and everything was there. These people, these Jewish people who they had been treating so horribly for so long, did nothing. They didn't take advantage of the situation. They didn't loot. They didn't collect spoils. They didn't break into their homes and take anything which they so easily could have done, undetected. Nothing. And that was such an amazing moment, because at that moment, Rabbi Hirsch explains that all of a sudden these Egyptians, who for so long had treated Jews like they were vermin, like they were rats and animals, realized who these people were that were in their midst. It was a moment of clarity where they said, oh my God, these people are of the greatest moral standard. They have such incredible midot. They have such incredible level of respect and dignity and integrity that they didn't touch anything when it was all for their taking. And at that moment, the Egyptians said, wow, this nation is different. These people are on a higher level. These are incredible human beings. I can't believe that we didn't know this. Now, with that context, think about it. God says to Moshe, okay, go tell them now to ask them for their silver and gold. And Moshe's like, well, wait a minute. I don't want to detract in the eyes of the Egyptians this understanding of the incredible moral standard and integrity that we had just achieved in their eyes. It's a deposit. It's a withdrawal. It's a withdrawal, not a deposit. It's a withdrawal from what we've just created and established in the eyes of these Egyptians. It was such a Kiddush Hashem. It was such a evaluation of the status of the Jewish people in their eyes, and he didn't want to give that up. And I think about that now. And I think about everything we've been through, and all the trouble, and all the horrors, and all the pain, and all the suffering, and the trauma of the last year and a half. But I think that there's never been a moment where I've been prouder to be a Jew, where I look at my people and I say, wow, look who we are. Look how we've come together. Look how we've stood up. Look how we've endured. Look how we've grown from this experience. What an incredible people we are. And I think deep down inside, the world has seen that. And even though they get caught up on crazy, stupid things like we're committing genocide, that's not the good people of the world. The good people of the world have seen how Am Yisrael has responded, who Am Yisrael is during the last year and a half. And it's an incredible moment for us. It's a very, very special moment. We have to build on this. We have to build and we have to leverage this understanding that the world has acquired recently about who we are and what we bring to the world, the light that we have to share with this world. And we should think about that as individuals. How can I reflect that light into the world? How can I bring that greatness of the nation that I'm a part of into the world to make the world a better place and to fulfill our mission as a people to be a light unto the nations? Wishing everyone a wonderful Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom from Yerushalayim.